There's a scene from my favorite Bollywood movie, Om Shanti Om, that I keep coming back to, and it has changed my life's perspective forever. It's about this guy who's a struggling actor and feels like he'll never make it big because he's just never had his breakthrough. He's been trying for years, and his big moment has just never come, and now directors are telling him he's too old to play a lead in any movie. After he bombs another audition, he gets absolutely wasted with one of his boys, and while they're drunk, he grabs the whiskey bottle and pretends it's like an Oscar, and he waves it around to an imaginary audience and starts giving this drunk acceptance speech. It's funny at first because he's just rambling all over, just like when you and your boys take too much Jose Cuervo and then end up at karaoke at 4 a.m. But then he hits us with this one profound line that makes you rethink everything. As in Hindi, और अगर तुम ठीक ना हो तो वो in the end नहीं है दोस्तों क्योंकि picture अभी बाकी है. It translates roughly to in life, just like the movies, when you're feeling things aren't going your way. If you're not happy or you haven't made it yet, it's okay because it's not the end of the picture yet. There's more to your story, there's more to come. And that's something I want to remind myself more often because oftentimes when things are rough, I feel like I'm at my rope. I feel like, is this it? Is this all meant out to be in this one little thing we call life? And then, no, it's not, because there's more to your story. See, I'm 27 now, and when I was 18, I had this whole other vision of life. It was this grand plan that I had already scripted out. I felt like I was not the same as everyone else. I'm gonna be different, right? I was gonna be this like super famous celebrity, have millions and millions of dollars in the bank. I'd be wearing 3 Rolexes, driving 2 different yachts, have mega planes, and it was not just a monetary thing. It was like, I'm gonna have everything in my life figured out. I'm gonna be super shredded. I'm gonna have the best abs in the world, and I don't know, man, somewhere along the way, none of those things panned out. I thought I'd be living my dream by now, you know, but don't be wrong, I'm not ungrateful. I understand that I have a lot of amazing things going for me. I'm living in New York City, I live in Manhattan, I have an amazing group of friends, I have a beautiful work and life, and I mean, I should be more grateful, right? I really should, but I mean, I am living the dream, but I'm not living my dream. And I think that's where I'm getting to with this. I think it is such a waste of life to go through the daily motions, being busy, just being on autopilot, without even ever realizing our full potential and seeing what we are actually capable of. See, in life, everyone has a role to play. And if you're not directing the own movie of your life, you're acting in someone else's. And that's why I wanted to make this video. Honestly, for me, but for also anyone who's watching, I want this to be a wake-up call that the universe is trying to motivate you to go take your dreams seriously. As we start this new year, I want you to intentionally be the conscious creator of your own life. Life is too precious to just be an extra in someone else's story. If you're feeling down or even feeling inspired, here are 3 principles to make your dream life a reality. And it doesn't matter where you are in your journey or how late you think you are, because like my boy said in the movie, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. The story isn't over, my friend. Let's dive right in. Principle number 1, you can't lose if you're having fun. What's going viral right now on TikTok and Instagram and stuff is this question that how big would your dream if you couldn't fail? And I think that's the totally wrong way to go about how happiness and success is defined. Because the question shouldn't be how big would you dream if you wouldn't fail? Because you're obviously gonna fail. Duh, like that's how life works. You're gonna swing, you're gonna miss 100, 500 times no matter what you are doing. It doesn't matter if you're starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a business, or I don't know, having a kid. You're going to fail a million times. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what would you do knowing you could fail? And do it anyway. Because at the end, the person who's gonna win is not the one who's the hardest working, the most talented, who even has the most money. It's the one who keeps on going and who's determined to succeed because it's just fun for them. So you need to find that in your life, that what would you do knowing you could fail every single day and do it anyway because it's just fun. Another way to think about this is what Alex Hormozi calls playing the infinite game.
Most games worth playing, you can't win. You can only play. You don't win at business. The point is to stay in business. When I redefine that, all of a sudden I realized that by being in the arena, I was a success. And so I was able to enjoy that by that definition of success, I was winning.
That means doing it every day consistently without worrying about the end result, because some things don't have an end result. For example, once you get fit, it doesn't mean you're just gonna stop working out. There's no end result to being healthy. You're gonna keep doing it anyway. Same with business, same with life, and same with anything you have fun doing. You wanna play the infinite game. An example I can give is this YouTube channel. My idea of a dream vision is, of course, I do have kind of an end goal. I want hundreds and thousands of subscribers. I wanna be a massive YouTube person, but it's not the game I'm playing. The game I'm playing is I'm just gonna consistently put out 1, 2, 3 videos a week. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's gonna take 3 years, 4 years, 1 year, 2 years. I'm not playing that game, bro. I'm playing the game that I'm gonna have fun doing the creative process itself. And my goal is to just output. It's not that I'm going to shoot for a massive, big, hairy goal. And that's what we call in our society, right? What's the biggest goal you have and try going after that. It's more about the daily inputs that you have to do in order to get that result. And that's what I want you to focus on and have fun doing at the same time, because that's what it's all about. A personal story about how this principle changed my life is how I haven't missed a workout for the last 6 months. And I have never gotten myself to consistently work out my whole life before then. It was like pulling my teeth, bro, to get myself to work out. I knew I should lift weights, and sometimes my motivation would be really high, and I'll go for 3-4 days after watching Pumping Iron, and then it would wane. And I'd watch more YouTube videos, and then it would wane. And then dude, I've tried pre-workouts, I've tried everything, and I couldn't get myself to consistently go. No matter how many of my famous influencers, gurus told me to run a marathon every morning, I couldn't do it. But I thought about, how can I make this fun for myself? How can I make working out fun? Sure, I feel great after, and you'll hear everyone say, oh, it sucks in the moment, but it feels great. But that in itself was enough of a hindrance for you to go into the gym in the first place. So I always like to think, what did you like to do when you were a child? When you were that's the most innocent form of fun, because you had no reason you were just playing the video game for the reason of playing a video game. Like, what did you do every day for fun? As that was an exercise. And I used to play a lot of basketball. Like, that was just a thing. In my neighborhood, we would drop our bags at school. We had our Razor flip phones, and we would just meet up and squat up and play basketball for hours, like 3-4 hours. I was still kind of a chubby kid, but I don't know why, because I was playing basketball 3-4 hours a day. And what's funny is I wasn't even any good. Dude, I tried for the basketball team like 4 times, and I got cut my freshman year, my sophomore year, I think even my junior year. At one point, we had this like exercise where when you do tryouts, you have to take a bunch of shots. Every time you miss a shot, the whole entire squad has to run a suicide. And I was that dude who kept missing the shots. And everyone was like, who the hell is this brown dude who's just literally showing up and making us run all day? But that's the point. I sucked at basketball, but I still loved playing 3-4 hours a day. I was like a dog. You throw a ball in front of me, I'm gonna keep chasing it. And that enough was easier to get cardio in versus standing in front of a treadmill, listening to 2x audiobooks, and then trying to, for 30 minutes, walk on an incline just to get sweat in. So what I did was I found in my local community some places to play basketball at. I went online, meetup.com, found groups that were playing pickup basketball. And 6 months ago, I joined one of the groups, and they play 2-3 times a week. So I haven't missed a single workout, because I'm running for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't do cardio, bro. This is my cardio, and I get a crazy work. I'm like sore in all places you never heard of. I still lift weights, I still do everything else, but I don't do cardio anymore because it's basketball. I look forward to it. I get so excited when I think about the fact that, oh, tomorrow I got basketball, I gotta play it. I'm lacing up my Jordans and I gotta get out the door. So find something you love doing when you were a kid and bring those elements into your life today. We get so interested in what's going on right now, we forget what we used to thoroughly enjoy when nothing really mattered. So when you find something, ask yourself, how can I make this more fun? Or what would the baby or child version of yourself do in this place instead? There's also a neuroscience professional, the chemistry in their mind behind what is going on here when you get really addicted to the act itself is the feel-good hormones that are released. And there's this habit cycle, it's called the habit loop, where you need to have a cue, then you need to do the act itself or have the ability to do the act itself. Like if I want to be a skater but I don't know how to ice skate, then I'm never going to do it itself. And then you have a reward feeling at the end. And sometimes you can trick your mind, a lot of these biohackers will tell you, by doing something rewarding, having a piece of chocolate or something like that in order to reinforce the habit loop for something you don't enjoy doing. That is such an outdated way of thinking about things. That's like David Goggins telling you to run a marathon and you hate running.
I'm back, motherfucker! I'm back!
We shouldn't be doing things even though we hate doing them in the first place, because no matter how hard we try or how many times we trick doing it, it might work for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month or two, but at some point you're gonna fail because motivation is gonna wane, the reward's not gonna be good enough, and you just don't wanna look forward to doing that activity in the first place. Instead, the study I wanna share with is making the act a reward in itself. A child doesn't procrastinate playing video games or doesn't procrastinate eating candies. It's the reward in itself of the activity. So if you change your rewards, you will change your life. So find ways to make the act itself a reward for you. And it doesn't have to just be like, of course, we have responsibilities, we have to do work and we have to work out, and these things are non-negotiables, but there's ways like I just shared, playing basketball instead for working out, or working, maybe playing a different favorite tune. So ask yourself what you can do to make this more fun, to make the act reward itself, so you get those feel-good hormones instantly, so you look forward every day. You're like floating out of bed in order to get to your desk. Whatever that is for you, do that self-work and you will be happy forever. Principle number 2 is to master the art of day stacking. One of the bedrock concepts of the American dream, right, is that if you just work hard enough, you'll be successful. And that is so counterintuitive to how success is actually built. That's not how people do it. It's not the big, massive changes that we work and grind so hard for. It's the small, daily, almost insignificant wins when done over time create a tsunami of mastery. See, chasing your dreams and making them a reality isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. So don't focus on these massive, insane goals. Instead, just focus on having a great morning routine, because great mornings lead to great days. And then great days lead to great weeks, and great weeks lead to great months, and great months lead to great years. It's really that simple. The 0.00001% of the happiest, the most successful, and wealthiest people in the world aren't that different from you and me. They just have wildly different habits, and that's what it really all comes down to. In this book, The One Thing, it's one of the most famous productivity books of all time by Gary Keller. He talks about this concept of geometric progression. You may have seen this viral TikTok trend where people will take a small domino and topple it, and there'll be some dominoes in between, but those small dominoes will generate enough force to topple this like massive 50-footer domino. It's the same idea, but in theory, if you take a 2-inch domino and double it over time, by the 31st domino, you will be able to generate enough force to topple Mount Everest. It's crazy, bro. It gets even crazier. Listen to this. By the 57th domino, you'll be able to topple a domino that's as tall as the distance from moon to the earth. That in itself is just, it's absurd. But that's what I want you to apply to your life. To make this practical today for you to install is focus on the 2-inch dominoes. Don't worry about the massive, big, hairy goals that you have to conquer the world. Those will take care of itself if you just keep tooling and adding enough of those 2-inch dominoes and then stack them in your pouch. You will get there without even realizing it. When I first learned of day stacking, I really hated it. I'll be honest, I did not like the concept of it because I'm someone who likes to just go balls to the wall with everything. I'm not gonna meditate for 3 minutes. I wanna start meditating 45 minutes a day. When I first ran for the first time probably in my life, I made a goal to run a marathon within 3 months. It never happened, but clearly you see where I'm going with this. I made a public challenge on social media. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll find how I did that. Like, even with waking up mornings, I told myself I'm a night owl. I never woke up early, and I woke up at 5 a.m. for 66 days because it takes 66 days to create a habit. I never woke up at 5 a.m. ever again after 66 days, but you get the point. I don't like small things. I don't like small goals. I don't like to think small. I like to think big, impossible, and then chase them because that's what excites me. But the one goal I had that I never could achieve was writing a book. And I've seen online people will just go to a cabin for 2 months and just knock out a book, right? That's all they do, live and breathe for 2 months. And I idealized that, I even romanticized that, but it wasn't realistic in life. I had a full-time job. It was during COVID actually, so I couldn't even leave the house. And I just wanted to write a book because I knew I had so much free time on my hands, but I couldn't just lock myself away and write a book for 3 months and then just emerge from the cave. I needed to find a way to make it practical in my life. So the goal I had for myself was to write just 10 words a day. I know, it sounds stupid just even saying it out loud, but it's that simple that I couldn't even fail. Anyone can write 10 words a day. I write more than that just texting people every day, right? So every single day I was gonna open up Word and I was gonna write 10 words. That's it. And then of course, some days I wrote more, some days I wrote less, but over time, after a month of just writing 10 words a day, I had a couple of pages. And I said, you know what, I think I could write a page a day now because I've built up the muscle of writing for long periods of time. And then after 1 page a day, by the end of the year, bro, I had like 400 pages of material. Because some days I'd write 3-4 pages, some days I'd write less than 1 page, but I never dropped below 10 words a day. But by the end of the year, I had a full manuscript. Then I actually had to cut down on the pages and edit to get to the crux of the book of what I was trying to say. Funny enough, I ended up writing 2 books because the first book was my just ramblings and writings for the first 3 months, and it was about charisma. And then I realized I didn't have enough material to write on charisma after 50 pages. So then that became my first mini book, which I have on my website. And then my major book, which I saw on Amazon, was the rest remaining 250 pages. It's so stupid simple to say this out loud, but writing 10 words a day made me an author, and anyone can write 10 words a day, including you, I promise. And boys, that's what it all comes down to. Principle number 3, you are the content you consume. If you want to become the best version of yourself and actualize your potential, you don't have to be careful of just what you feed your body, you should be extra careful of what you feed your mind. Just like you wouldn't go to a church, mosque, temple, or synagogue and spray paint the insides of the walls, you don't want to do that to your brain, yet we do it every single day without even realizing it. Think of attention as a filter or like a gatekeeper for what goes into your conscious mind, because the thoughts you think ultimately become what you feel, and what you feel becomes the total accumulation of your reality. That's powerful stuff, man, but it all starts here. So think of this filtering, this attention that you have as a flashlight. Wherever you shine your flashlight, that is what goes into your brain. So if you take this attention flashlight and are shining it on 20 seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians or Love Island, then that is the person you'll become. Haven't you watched like a TV show, Suits, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and started embodying the characteristics of the main characters? Bro, when I started watching Sopranos, I want to say 3 seasons in, I was talking with people like this. And I didn't even notice I was doing that, but it was funny because I caught myself doing it once. I was like, what the hell am I? I'm not a mafioso from an Italian mobster family. But that is just how human brain works. You are the content you consume. Everything in life comes down to priorities. What you prioritize will become what your life looks like. And how do you want to look like in 1 year? If your priorities are based on YouTube's recommended or Instagram or TikTok or what they're showing you, your reality will become what an algorithm dictates for you to become. Because that is all we're doing. We're just mindlessly consuming content that YouTube tells us to watch. So I want you to actively guide that process. You have to be so careful, so religious almost about where your attention goes that it's sacred to you, because that's the most precious commodity we've got. One of the strategies I do is I never watch a YouTube video right when it shows up on newsfeed. If I like it, I'll save it to my watch later playlist, and then maybe I'll watch it later. I have like a set time of my day when I watch YouTube videos, but I don't watch right there and then, because you have to realize people use a lot of copywriting and weaponize words against us with crazy images and words to clearly make us want to watch it, to the point that we turn off our internal resources and click the button anyway like a programmed animal. By just delaying that gratification and pushing it to a watch later playlist and then choosing to intentionally watch it later, I've noticed most of the videos I watch, I don't actually want to see because they're just trashy, clickbait worthy titles. And then there are some videos that I generally do watch and I get a lot of value from, which I also add to my watch later playlist. Another version of this is having a read later app like Instapaper, or I use Reader. These make sure that any type of newsfeed or article or even Twitter thread that shows up, I add it to that. And then I choose to read it properly when I'm in the subway or something else. And once again, I notice anything that I ever wanted to read right then and there, and I turned off that delayed gratification, usually turns out to be something I shouldn't have wasted my time in the first place on. So this is a great tool that I want you to use, that I've been using for a while, that has really helped. And I'm gonna use my finances as an example for this, because I've noticed where money goes, that's where your focus and energy goes. I used to think $200-300 on a dinner was totally acceptable for going out, especially living in a big city like New York. All my friends are going out. That was the content I was seeing on Instagram, plus the TV shows I was watching. We have this famous saying in New York, which you'll notice if you're ever in a big city. Anytime you get the check with one of your friends, you'll see the bill, it doesn't matter the price, even if you're at Bagatelle or somewhere else, you'll look at it and be like, not bad. That's not bad. It's like a funny thing you'll hear like everyone say in unison, oh, that's not bad, it could be worse. Even though it's like $3-4 a person, right? That is just the culture that we live in. But I used to think healthy groceries for $200-300 a month was just so crazy and just out of my budget. I was going and spending nights on dinners and clubbing and partying and spending $200-300 every single Friday, Saturday. But dinner and the healthy groceries were two separate worlds for me. Healthy groceries just seemed out of reach. But when I started consuming more Instagram content and followed a lot of people and followed more influencers who were focused on healthy eating, food groceries, delivery services. I thought delivery services was like a perk for the rich and the wealthy. But then I started using it myself, and it is expensive. It's like $200-300 a month, but it's realistic and achievable. I just had to cut down on my priorities of going out and spending dinner nights out, and instead focusing on myself on healthy groceries. Another thing I used to think that was very normal was investing in great quality clothing. You know, a sweater for $100-200 is totally normal. Ferragamo shoes for $500 is a lot, but it's acceptable because that's what people spend when you're working in banking. A custom bespoke suit, $1,200, a little expensive, a little pricey, but it's a long, worthwhile investment everyone has when you're gonna wear it often. This was the kind of content I was consuming. This is the kind of people I was around. But I always thought that $500 on a self-help course was way too much money. $1,000 on a self-help course, get out of here. That's like, what are they gonna sell me, bro? That's worth $1,000. And it was these small mindset shifts. Once again, when I focused this attention on, instead of bespoke boots, keeping up with the Joneses, nice clothes, but then focused it on following and talking to people and seeing content that enriched me, like documentaries and stuff like that, I was noticing that this value of $600 or $1,000 in a self-help course was way worth it than what was on the other side, buying these small luxury goods. But once again, these are things we don't even know that we have in ourselves. These are small, subtle differences I noticed in my spending over the last few months because I started shifting the content I'm consuming as well. This mindset shift I want to share with you guys is something you can probably strongly relate to, and that is always getting the latest and greatest new iPhone, new tech gadget, whatever that is. Because everyone's talking about it. They have the craziest features, new colors, and I thought it was just super normal every year to get the new iPhone. I genuinely thought that's what people did, but I could never justify spending $2,000, and so pretty much the same price, but $2,000 on starting a business or start a side hustle for myself. It wasn't until recently that I was finally able to start my own side hustle or business and not get the latest greatest iPhone, because I didn't realize that I was doing that mistake in the first place. It's just when I changed the inputs into my brain, I just saw my whole life change. And that's what I want for you as well. And I want to end this principle with a famous quote, concept study, whatever you want to call it. But people always say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Show me the 5 people you hang out with every day and I'll tell you who you are, right? And I totally agree with that mindset. But something we don't think about is the parasocial relationships, which means the relationships online or people you actually have never met, but just hear and talk and listen to their podcast. Those relationships, I think, matter more in today's society than even the people you surround yourself with. Because I'll talk to my mom maybe 30 minutes a week, an hour a week, but I listen to Huberman's podcast 3 hours a week. Technically, I feel closer to Huberman, who I've never met, and I've only listened to his podcast on like water and dopamine and biohacking, to my mom, who I only talk an hour a week with. I know that's not a fair comparison, and of course, I do care about my mom more than Huberman, but what I'm trying to say is these parasocial relationships have such a profound impact on our daily lives, and we don't manage them carefully. We just listen to Logan Paul or whoever you want to listen to at the time without noticing the kind of impact they have, because you might have some of these influencers as your 5 people you surround yourself with. So be very meticulous and be very careful of who you let in digitally and not just physically into your life. And if you made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really hope you got some value from this video. And if you did, please share with your friends, family, or others so they too can get inspired and motivated to make their dream life a reality this year. And I just want to leave you with a heartfelt message, a message I wish I heard 5 years ago, that it's never too late to start chasing your dreams. And it is said that if you really, truly, deeply want something with all your heart, the whole universe will conspire to get it for you. Take care, guys. Please subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you all in the next one.